Hello everyone. Today we are going to be starting our new topic of probability, and we are going to be on page 370, lesson 7-1. So the first thing we need to know is we need to know what probability is and how I write the probability of something. So we're going to take this coin for an example, and this coin has a red and a yellow. And we are going to list the probability of landing on the color red. So if I'm trying to figure out the probability of landing on the color red, I need to know that my probability is going to be part over whole. Just like a fraction, probability is always going to be part over whole. But when I'm describing this, I need to know what my part represents and what my whole represents. So if I'm talking about the part of this, and I'm talking about the probability of landing on red, this means the probability of landing on red. I know that I can only land on red one time. This is two-sided. I can only land on red once. So my part is my number of times an event can occur. So my part is the number of times an event can occur, and my whole is my total number of outcomes. So my total number of possible outcomes. So if I am looking at this coin and I'm trying to figure out the number of times my event can occur when I'm figuring out the probability of landing on red, that can only happen once. There's two sides, that can only happen one time, over my total number of possible outcomes. So it could land on heads or tails or yellow or red. So it can land on two different things. So my probability of landing on the color red is 1/2. Then I can figure out that 1/2 is equal to 50%. So that's just like a mini lesson of what probability is. So if we look at example 1, it says, Allison and Sherry spin the pointer to the right and record the color that it lands on. The table shows the results after 100 spins. How can Alyssa and Sherry explain their results? So first of all, I need to look at this and figure out what the probability is of landing on each color. So the probability of landing on red, there's one red, so my number of times an event can occur, once, over my total number of outcomes. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 sides or colors to the spinner. So my probability of red is 1/4. Then I can say my probability of blue is also, there is one blue, the number of times my event can occur out of 4 total spots. And then I can do my probability of green, which there's one green out of 4 total. And my probability of yellow. There is one yellow out of 4 total. So I need to figure out what this is in a percent. So in order to figure out what it is as a percent, I'm going to use my calculator. I'm just going to use my phone calculator. And I'm going to do your fraction, 1/4. And then that's in decimal form, so I need to multiply by 100 to get 25%. Now, I know that 1/4 is 25%, so each of these have a 25% of this happening. So I need to know that the probability of landing on a red is 1/4 or 25%. The probability of landing on blue is 1/4 or 25%. Green is the same and yellow is the same. Since they are all equal sizes, I can write it as this. So they all have the favorable they all have a 1 out of 4 or 25% chance of happening. So my probability of landing on a certain color is 25%. Okay, now let's look at our try it. It says, how might the probability of the pointer landing on a given color change for the spinner shown on the right? So just like I did in my example, I'm going to have to list all of the probability of something happening. So I'm going to write the probability of the color red. My next color, I'm just going to check it off so I know I've listed the probability of yellow, my probability of blue, and my probability of green. So I need to see what the probability of these things happening are. So if I look at the probability of red, remember, it is the number of times an event can occur is my part, and then my whole is the total number of possible outcomes. So this event, looking at red, can occur 1, 2 times out of a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 total outcomes. The color yellow can happen once, twice, 2 times. There are 2 yellows out of a total of 8 yellows. The probability of blue is 1, 2. There are 2 blues out of a total of 8 colors. And the probability of green is 1, 2. There are 2 greens out of 8 colors. Now let's get this 2% form. So I'm going to go, 2 over 8, and then multiply that by 100. And for my percent, I get 25%. I can also see that these are all 2 out of 8 because I have equal amount of sections. So I know that all of these are going to have a 25% chance of happening. So I can look, and I had a 25% chance of this happening and a 25% chance of landing on one of these colors. So the question is, how might the probability of the pointer landing on a given color change for the spinner shown on the right? We can say the probability will not change because there is the same percent of each thing happening. So I still have the same probability of each of my possible outcomes once I got it down into a percent. Now let's look at example 2. It says, Carrie will roll a number cube with sides labeled 1 to 6. That's important to know. So there's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a 6 because my dice is labeled 1 to 6. It says, what is the probability that she will roll a 2? So I need to figure out how many 2s are on my dice. There is 1, 2. So my probability is 1 out of however many total outcomes. And there is 6 total outcomes. I can also put this into percent form by going 1 out of 6 times 100, and I get 16.6 repeating percent. The next one is, what is the probability that she will roll a number less than 7? So I need to see how many numbers are less than 7 here. So I ask myself, is 6 less than 7? Yep. 5, yep. 4, yep. 3, yep. 2, yep. 1. So there were all 6 numbers were less than 7 out of 6 total outcomes. I should know that 6 out of 6 is a 1 or a 100% chance of happening. So I took my total number of outcomes over what would actually happen. And then for C, it says, what is the probability that she will roll a number greater than 6? So I need to see how many numbers are greater than 6 here. 1 is not greater than 6, 2 is not greater than 6, neither is 3, 4, 5, or 6. So there are 0 numbers greater than 6 out of, there were 6 possible numbers. A 0 out of 6 we should know is a 0% chance. So I'm going to write 0%. Okay, next I am going to look at our try it. So I have a 12-sided dice, so I need to know it's labeled numbers 1 through 12. And we are going to figure out the try it for this game piece, the probabilities. Okay, your try it. I have a game piece that is labeled numbers 1 through 12. I'm going to write those out. You don't really have to, but I'm going to write it out. I have numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Those are my amount of numbers that I have on my dice, or my 12-sided cube. It says, what is the probability of rolling an 11? So on this dice, there is only one 11 out of 12 total. So then I would write 1 over 12 times 100, and I would get a 8.3% chance. Then it says, what is the probability of rolling a number greater than 5? So I need to figure out what numbers are greater than 5. So 5 is not greater than 5, but 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 are all greater than 5. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 numbers are greater than 5 out of a total of 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And for C, it says, what is the probability of rolling a number greater than 12? So I need to see how many numbers are greater than 12 here. There are no numbers greater than 12 out of 12 possible outcomes, which is a 0% chance. I forgot to do the calculations for 7 out of 12 times 100. That was a 58.3% chance. Next, we're looking at example 3. It says, Marisol designed a spinner for a game. The spinner is fair if there is an equal chance for the pointer to land on each letter. Is the spinner a fair spinner? So I need to see if all of these have an equal chance of happening. So I'm going to figure out the probability of landing on, let's do the letter A. So the probability of landing on A, there are 2 A's out of a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different slots. Then let's do the probability of the letter E. There is 1 E. Okay, I only see 1 E out of 6 letters. Now let's do it for probability of B. I see 1 B out of a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The probability of C, I see 1 C out of a total of 6. And last but not least, the probability of D, I see 1 D out of a total of 6. So if I'm trying to figure out if this is fair, all of these have to be the same probability of happening, or the same possible outcomes. I had a 2 in 6 chance of landing on the letter A, but I had a 1 in 6 chance of landing on the letters E, B, C, and D. So I need to figure out if this is a likely or if this is a fair spinner. And the answer is no, because this does not have the same probability of happening that these do. So I'm going to say no, not a fair spinner, because there is a higher chance of landing on A. It is more likely that I would land on A. I have a 2 in 6 chance of landing on A, and only a 1 in 6 chance of landing on all of the other letters. Now let's do our try it. Is the spinner shown a fair spinner? If yes, explain why. If not, describe a change that could make the spinner fair. So if I'm looking, I need to first list out the probability of everything happening. So the probability of landing on red, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 reds out of a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 spots. 4 out of 10 we should know. If not, I can put it in my calculator. 4 out of 10 times 100 gives me a 40% chance of happening. Then I can do the probability of blue. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blues out of a total of 10 colors. This is a 50% chance. And last but not least, the probability of gray. There is 1 gray out of 10, which is a 10% chance. So I need to say, is my spinner fair? First of all, I should see that these are not the same percents, or if I'm looking at my fraction form, red has a 1, 2, 3, 4 in 10 chance, blue has a 5 in 10 chance, and gray has a 1 in 10 chance. So, no, the spinner is not fair. And then, what can I do to make this spinner fair? So, I have a gray that I can make a different color. What if I make this gray red? Now, if we do the probabilities, I have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have a 5 in 10 chance of it being red, and a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in 10 chance of it being blue. So what I would have to change is the gray spot should change to red to make my spinner fair. Okay, so once you are done with this, I would like you to answer questions 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Once you are done answering these questions, I would like you to rip it out of your workbook and staple it together and put it in the turn-in tray. And once you are done with that, you can either work on iReady or you can work on your weekly or review corrections from last week. Let me know if you guys have any questions, and I will see you all tomorrow.